Hello everyone, my name is Mouse Tutorial and today I'm going to show you how to add a texture for your block. So in my previous tutorial I showed you how to make the most basic block in the game. So we created this block, base block. And then we already told it was the material rock, we gave it some hardness and we gave it some resistance. But we haven't given it a texture yet. Now the way I like to do this is a little bit different than most people do this. I do it my way because I can just copy and paste this code in every blocks class and it will automatically work. Some people use different code and they need to change it every time they want to use it, but mine will work automatically. So right below the opening of the public base block, you want to create a new method. It's not new, it's already in block, but we are going to override it. So we use the override annotation. Now this method only needs to be loaded by the client. So we say site only, site.client. So only the client side needs to worry about this method. Now the method that we're going to override is public void register icons. Now the register icons method needs an icon register, and I'm gonna call it icon register, of course, not to make it too hard. Okay, so what do we want to do inside here? What we want to do is we want to say block icon, and I say block icon since base block is a block. If you were to have an item, you would of course do item icon. And that's going to be equal to icon register dot icon register dot register icon. Okay, so what do we need in here? Well, basically what we need is something like mod ID, then a column, and then our block name. So if you were to just type it, you would have to change the block name every time you wanted to use it. So we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to say string dot format. This so we can use a format. This is a format we're going to use. The first one is going to be a parameter, then a column, then something else. So the first thing this thing, the percentage sign s, is going to be references dot mod ID dot two lowercase. So the first one is going to be mod ID. Now the second one we need is this dot get unlocalized name. Now the only problem is with unlocalized name, and I'll make it in a bit. The unlocalized name is basically the name in the source code. The problem with unlocalized name is that it has a prefix, which is tal, and that's done by Forge. We cannot it's automatically done. So we need to get rid of that. So we're going to do that in the following way. We're going to create a new method right below here called protected string get unwrapped unlocalized name. So this is gonna get rid of that tal dot and it's gonna only return our string that we want. So in order for this to work, we need to get a name. So that's what we're saying. Okay, give us a string and we'll do something with that. And it will return name. Well, the name that we get, we're gonna get the substring of that, and we start at name dot index of the dots plus 1. So let me break this down again, because this might be a little bit confusing. Okay, so once we register a unlocalized name, it will automatically register it as tal.baseBlock. And that's not what we want to register. We only want to register the tal block, the base block, sorry. So what we say is, okay, give this name to our get unlocalized name, get unwrapped unlocalized name. And what it does is it gets the substring of this thing, and it starts at the dot plus 1. So basically it's returning this. Cool. So now we just need to feed it to our register icons, and we do that in the following way. Get unwrapped unlocalized name, and we're gonna give it this dot unlocalized get unlocalized name. Cool. So basically this is registering the icon for us. What it's doing is it's gonna say, okay, the block icon for the current block is something with the format of this, which is mod ID, column, and then the unlocalized name without the tile. Cool. So that's how you make a method that registers it. Now in every block class you need to copy and paste this in. So if I were to make a new block, I need to put it back in. But that's not a big problem. So yeah, I know, a nice background. So what I want to do now is show you where you put the textures. Now I have shown you that you need to create a _common class folder. Now I don't remember if I showed you need to make a resources class, but I'll show it anyway. So inside your source /mod ID, you want to create a new folder called mouse does mods _resources. So this is going to hold all the resources for our mod. Now inside resources, you want to, and let me remember it, call a make a folder called assets. Inside there, we want to create a folder called textures. And inside here, we want to create two folders, one blocks and one items. So the blocks are going to hold all the block textures and the items are going to hold all the item textures. So we're going to paste this in the right directory, resources, assets, textures, blocks, and rename it to our paste block. And now what we need to do is we need to add that folder to our workspace. So right click on Mouse's Mods Project, new folder, advanced, link to alternate locations, browse, scroll down, select your resources folder and hit OK. Now right click on this and say use as a source folder under build path. So this is going to make it a resource folder, and there you have it, or base block. I'm just going to delete this because that's an error. Cool. So now we have that resources folder which holds our texture. Let's now run the game and see if this actually, oh wait, terminate it because I forgot to tell you one thing. Now we need to actually set the unlocalized name, so we need to give it some kind of name. So what we want to do is say this, let's set unlocalized name, and I'm going to define all the names in a class called strings. So base block underscore name. So I'm going to define all the names of the blocks in the class strings. Now I'm going to create that class really quick. Oh. Say what? Does strings already exist? Oh, cool, it does. So I had already made that class. So inside strings, and I had already created the name. That's cool. I only need to import it then. So inside strings I will have all the block names, and I'm giving it the localized name from the strings class. So let's now see if this works. Run it. Make sure you get the modded run configuration. Gotta wait a few seconds. This is longer than it should take, but okay. Go. Yeah, go. I apologize for this loading so slow. I have no idea why it does that. And I see some kind of error, so we might want to investigate that in a bit. Yeah. So we have a little error and we're gonna find out why. So let's open up this and see inside assets there needs to be a folder textures, blocks, base block.png. Okay, I remember. Inside assets you need to have your mod ID folder, so mouse does mods. And the textures folder goes inside there. Run. Try again.